Today I am going to make an awesome cat toy which you can see in this video. Cats are going crazy for it. Chasing feathers is one of the ultimate play that cats love because by nature they are hunters, and play mimics hunting. When you're using items like feathers, then it makes it really natural. The cats genuinely believe that they are hunting a bird. Now we've got Pedro here, he's going to help me. Angelina's just wandered off, but I'm sure she'll turn up to help again. I'm starting with a stick that's about 18 inches long. It came with the toy. It already had a hole drilled through it, which you can probably see there. Now I threaded a bit of fishing line through here and added a swivel. That means that I don't have to keep going in and tying string on the stick every time I make a toy, and the swivel stops the string getting tangled up. Now this is the sorry state of the last toy I made. It's definitely time to replace it. You can also see there's a swivel on top of it, and I've used fishing line to tie the toy to the swivel. So let's look at what you need to make a brand new feather toy. To hold the feathers in place here, I've used suede, and I've glued the feathers inside the suede. So it's worth finding a bit of suede. Because it's leather, the glue doesn't come through it, so it's safer for you. The glue doesn't come through it, so it's safer for your cat when they put it in the mouth. Ideally, these toys should never be left for cats to chew, and unfortunately, that's what I did. It's a real no-no, because they can get the string tangled right in the neck, and, you know, I forgot to put the toy away. So we're using a bit of suede. I can't find my fishing line right now, so I'm going to use dental floss. It's generally very strong. I do expect it to break after a few months, but for now it's going to do the job. But very thin fishing line is actually better. Now I've got an assortment of feathers to make a really interesting toy that looks like a bird, and some colourful feathers to mix in with them, because cats do see colour and it really excites them. I've just found that I've got another toy that I started to make. To start with, I'm going to cut a strip of suede. It's not actually going to be as long as that. I found that too heavy, so we're going to make one that's 1 inch wide, and from memory I think it's about 2 to 3 inches long. I'm going to cut a strip. It's going to be just long enough to fold around the feathers and fold around again. So this is about 2.5 inches long. So we've got a strip about 2.5 inches long. Next I'm going to choose my feathers. Some of these feathers are really, really big. Now to make this feather smaller, I'm just going to strip off a bit of the feathers. Angelina is coming to help me. Come over here, babe. It's quite good to let the cats have a pet to play with while you're making a toy. So I've got a really long shaft here. I'm actually going to trim it down after I've put it in the suede. I've obviously bought my feathers, but you can gather them as you go. The more natural, the better. Better for your cat, and it's far more interesting because it smells like a bird. Okay, so we've got awesome couple of feathers. That one's got a bit of blue on it. Don't know if it shows up. And they're very natural. and now Diego's come to help. So we're going to put those two in. I'm going to add this bright green one. This actually fell out of the last toy I made. So I'm just going to strip a few more to make a bit of stalk there. Right. And a couple of bright ones just to add a splash of colour. There. Bring the camera down so you can see the feathers better now. Right. I'm going to lay the feathers out so that they bounce out from the toy, because if I put them face to face, it's not really going to be very interesting. But when you put them back, wait, come here. When you put them back to back, then they make that awesome little V shape, which looks like a pair of wings. I'm going to add this little wee feather here. Then I'm going to add the bright one. Now, the part that's going inside the toy is this part, so I'm making sure that every feather is going to sit happily in there. Diego, can you wait till it's made? Another bit of coloured feather. I'm not sure how much it's actually going to show up. It's so little. Right. And that's enough. It doesn't need to be a great big enormous thing. Now I'm going to very carefully lay these onto my piece of suede. I'm going to use some craft glue. This is acetone based. Once it's stuck, nothing's coming out of this toy. Obviously you have to wait for the glue to dry before you can play with your cat, because the fumes are really high and Diego's probably going to go away. So I'm going to lay it quite thickly on the suede in lines. But Diego's going to run soon. Oh, it's quite strong. It's really better to do this without your cats around, but I don't really have a lot of choice right now. Alright, so I am laying the part of the feathers that have got their stalks onto this little bit of leather, and I'm going to roll it around the feathers really tight so they all stick in. It is going to get messy. There is going to be glue oozing out of this. And that's the first step of the job. We need to let that glue dry. To keep it nice and tight, I'm just going to lay my scissors on the glued part, not actually in the glue, or else they're going to end up sticking. To get the excess glue off my fingers, I've learnt that tissues don't cut it. It just makes tissue stick. So I just rub it between my fingers and the glue rolls off when it's dry. While that is drying, I'm going to show you the next step of the process with one that has already been made. We'll use this little one that I'm going to jazz up, and I'll show you how I jazz it up. So what I want to do is get a swivel on the end of there, and I'm going to sew it on. I'll just get my dental floss threaded. Okay, so I've got my needle threaded dental floss. I'm going to tie a knot about 2 inches roughly at the bottom of the cotton, and I'm going to use the loose bit that's dangling to tie it onto the toy. Our toy is gluing away beautifully. The next step for this is what I'm going to show you on this toy that's been partially made. So going in to the end of the suede, be so careful not to go into your fingers. It takes a bit of finger strength. We're going to get that dental floss secured. Alright, and we're going to go in again as if we're sewing up the end of this. And we really want it to be well secured. Okay, so I have finished sewing the dental floss onto this. Now I'm going to, whoops, that was great, attach a swivel. So I'm going to poke that through the swivel because I left enough length of the string. I'm going to tie 2 knots to secure it on there, 2 knots. Okay, so this swivel is firmly tied to the toy, and the toy can spin around and it won't twist your string. Now I've already got some string. It's good strong garden twine. This has lasted for ages, and it's about 30 inches long, and then you would tie this on and use about 3 knots to keep it in place. I'm going to show you how I jazz up my toys, and you can also do this to make your cat think that they've got a whole brand new toy. Now what I need for that is a decent elastic band. So I'm just going to lay on the outside of this. This is before I stick it on the rope, because it's going to be really hard to do once it's on the rope. And then I'm going to keep them on here with an elastic band. Now I'm starting at the top of the piece of suede, which you can't see, and I'm putting them on with this band as tight as I can. I'm going to tie this now onto my string, and I'm going to tie it 3 knots, and then I'm going to show you the cat's reaction. And once they figure out, dear Pedro, look, a new toy! Pedro! Yes! It's a new toy. And we're going up the cat tree. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba. Oh, and here comes Diego. He's seen it. He's going to come and play now. Oh, it's a new cat toy. It's so exciting. And honestly, these cats are just going to follow me. Whoops. They're going to follow me around. Come on, Diego. Oh, yes, it's a new toy. It's a new toy. Come on then. Whee! Yes. 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 Oh, we're going to show you some acrobatics. Angelina. Come here, Angie. Oh, yes. Come on, Pedro. Pedro. Come on. Pedro. It's a new toy. They just love it. And you can change your toys when the cats start to get a bit bored. Just look at the excitement. True excitement. We love our new toy.